Alright, so I just got Amplitube 5 installed and I wanted to make a video very quick just showing how to get started just for noobs and dummies just like myself, because there is a lot of 40 minutes and 30 minutes videos on YouTube, and I wanted when I was trying to learn about this, I wanted a quick video just to show the basics, just to get through in the beginning. So Amplitube 5 is a bit more complicated than Amplitube 4. It took me a while to understand what's going on here, but basically you have a lot more stuff, a lot more possibilities and pedals and amps. So right here you have your amp selection. You can choose type or collection. I like to use the go by type, and here you can, it's the same thing, you can choose type or collection. I'll just show a few examples. I like the Fender amps. I'm not a metal guy, I don't use a lot of high gain stuff. So there's a lot of Fender amps. These are basically the same ones in Amplitube 4. So I'm using the 65 Deluxe Reverb. Let's try, I don't know, Jimi Hendrix, British Lead. Okay, so here you have your amp selection. You can choose here your pedal selection. I'll go by type. And what's interesting here is this little signal chain that's going on here. So basically, there's so much possibility here. I don't know how to get started even. But let's just say you want to put, I have here in the beginning of the chain, it's like here's the beginning, you have a tuner. Then you have this DI signal which you can turn on and off. Then here at this part is where you would normally put your floor pedals. I have here a tube screamer and a noise gate, and there's so much stuff you can choose here. Let's try a DS1. I don't know if it's clipping. No. Okay. Well, now it is. Well, one thing I have to mention is that Amplitube 4 seems to require a lot more RAM memory than Amplitube 4, and for that reason I'm having a few problems because I don't have enough RAM power. So sometimes you may hear some glitches and noises, but I have lowered my buffer size, and let's see what happens. So you can choose any pedal you want, any effect here at this part of the chain. Then here is your amp selection, and what's interesting here is that you can choose, like you have here a normal chain with just one amp, 2 amps, 3 amps, and here's like a true stereo kind of thing. I'm a pretty how can I say, lazy guy, so I don't like to mess too much with this stuff, but it's interesting. Especially I think 2 amps is like too much for me already. So you can choose here 1 amp, like let's say anything. Let's just choose randomly 59 Bassman. And you have here the Marshall style amp. Okay, so I'm not gonna go too crazy to make a very beautiful sound here. I'm just showing the possibilities. Here you have your cabinet selection. You can choose different cabs right here. and you can, for example, for the Marshall, you can choose anything you want, and it's very user friendly. You can just grab the stuff and slide here. For example, an orange cabinet. Okay, so now you can also place your effects, like to affect just one amp, like here or here, or both right here in the chain. Then in the cabs things get more complicated because you have your mic selection. Here's mic number 1, mic number 2, and you would use it the same way as Amplitube 4, but you can grab the stand and drag it and reposition the mics and stuff. But now what's new is that you have this VIR thing, which is kind of impulse response kind of thing, in which you can I don't know how to use this yet, to be honest, but you can put it closer or further away from the speaker. You can choose the range, kind of the range of the sound coming from the speaker, like this. And you can also change here the where you want it to capture. For example, if you put it here, it's going to capture the speaker beside. If you put it here, it's going to capture a little bit of the three speakers, and so on. So I still have a lot to mess with this, but moving on. So here is where you would put your rack stuff. No, this is actually the master stage. I have here a compressor, and this is another very interesting thing because you seem to have very fancy stuff going on here, like a vintage kind of compressors and plugins. These are basically plugins which are built into the program, and you can also for example, delays. You can put them in your effects loop right after your cabinets. For example, reverb. You just drag it here to this place in the chain here. So here you have your rack selection. You can turn it on and off. Well, now it's glitching very hard, but you get the idea. So it's getting pretty long, this video. I'm just gonna wrap it up. Now the question, does it sound better than Amplitube 4? Well, that's a tough question and pretty subjective. I would say that it doesn't sound better to me. I think these amp sims, they sound pretty much the same, all of them. I don't hear a lot of difference. Maybe I'm not hearing stuff. I've seen people online saying that Amplitube 5 is a new technology and it's more detailed. The amps were recorded in a more real way, because in Amplitube 4 you have like a pre-EQ and pre-compression built into the stuff, and now you have like a more raw sound. Which kind of makes sense. I think Amplitube 5 gives you a more raw sound to begin with, and you can shape it to your taste. But I think in general, these simulations are simulations. They are not real amps, and they will never be real amps. I think this is not the point. The point is to have a lot of options, which you wouldn't have normally if you were recording with your amp in your little room, unless you had like a studio or a lot of money and a lot of racks and microphones and cabinets and space and $1 million in your bank account, then go ahead, But so that's it, pretty much. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. I hope to learn about this software as I go along. I'll try to implement in my videos, and I hope this was helpful and not too boring. So thank you so much. Bye bye.